Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix both of those things together. The content that I'm going to show you right now is an incredibly sad expression of F around and find out. For some reason, recently, as in the last couple of days, we have a rash of juveniles grabbing firearms and attempting to rob people and meeting with consequences, some from the law and some from, self-defense. This is something that we're going to need to explore, and oddly enough, guys, you're not going to believe this, there's not a peep from all the gun control advocates out there because this seems to be pretty simple. There's guns everywhere. It's a wash. They're all over. It's a plague upon our nation. But for some reason, they're very quiet around 9-year-olds having guns and, armed robbery and carjacking, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, armed robbery, getting shot. And it's weird. I don't know. There must be something to it. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about this one. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you want to spread this freedom from border to border and coast to coast. And thank you in advance for that consideration. Now, guys, while we're spinning this stuff up, these are all instances of individuals defending themselves against armed teenagers and sub-teenagers. We're talking about preteens that have firearms that are trying to commit felonies. Some. If you think it's the guns, I don't know. But the whole point here is be prepared. This is why we are prepared in case a situation like this occurs. Also, the sponsor of this video, USCCA, they're putting out free classes right now in your area. It's completely free. There's a link in the description box below so you can be well armed. You can be educated. You can know the laws in your state. You can do all sorts of stuff to further your own protection. Check this video out and then we're going to hit it. Investing in your own safety and confidence is always a smart move. So if you're a protector, parent, or concerned citizen looking to level up your skills for what our crazy world might bring next, check this out. USCCA is giving you free resources and training to support your 2A. They just launched a new site where you can easily sign up for over 1,600 courses happening in person nationwide. And get this, they're all 100% free through the end of the year. This is hands down the best way to gain real world self-defense knowledge from experienced instructors right in your own community. In fact, from creating a solid home protection plan to understanding the ins and outs of use of force laws, these expert-led classes will give you the tools and confidence to stay safe in any situation. Pop over to the link in the description and find a course near you and take advantage of this incredible chance to train with the best of the best. Trust me, this is the real deal, so don't wait. Head to uscca.com/class now and sign up for a free course. As you can see, they are available for you right now and are showing you local options. All right, enough of the setup, you beautiful bastions of freedom. We have got to dive into this. I've got a few clips to show you. Again, we're going to just start to insert the points when the gun controllers should start screaming, right? Because for some reason, they're invisible. I don't know. It's weird. All right, let's go to the first one in Texas. This is breaking, as you can see. 3 teens, aged 12 to 14, have been shot while attempting to rob an elderly man in Harris County, Texas. The teens were armed with pistols. Now, hold the phone. Wait a minute. Because the existing gun laws in the state of Texas and the United States say that prepubescent children can't have guns because they can't buy guns. Color me perplexed. Let's keep going.
A total of 4 boys, ages 12 to 14 years old, attempted to try to rob a man in this apartment complex you see behind me. Now, that's when authorities say that man started shooting in order to defend himself. If you take a look, this is video of when deputies first responded to this incident just after 10:30 p.m. last night. When deputies got there, they say they found one boy with a gunshot wound. He was rushed to a trauma center in critical condition and at last checked was in surgery. Now, the investigators say 2 more boys were found with gunshot wounds and they were also taken to the hospital. A few minutes later, they say the shooter turned himself in and a 4th teenager was taken in. Now, investigators tell us the shooter says he only shot the boys because they tried to attempt to rob him in his home with guns. Now, neighbors heard the commotion and came outside to see what was going on.
All right. So, hold on. Wait a minute. 12 to 14-year-olds, 4 of them, were involved in a home invasion, armed with pistols? How could they get pistols? They can't buy them. And federal law states very clearly that they can't be in possession of them. This is weird. Something's up, guys. But more importantly, I don't want this to happen to anybody before the gun controllers get on their high horse and say that I want violence. I don't at all. In fact, I wish these kids had some moral fortitude and moral structure provided to them to where they weren't committing armed felonies in people's homes. Yeah, crazy. But anyway, it's got to be the gun's fault, right? It can't be the fact that the parents are involved or culture or the sickness of our hearts and minds in our country. No. It's definitely the inanimate objects that they used, right? Now, this is a self-defense shooting. The guy's not going to get charged at all. I got another clip from another angle on this we're going to cover in a second. But this is the situation that we have in the United States, and the gun controllers are mum's the word on this one. Isn't that weird how they only highlight things that would benefit their political narrative, but they don't highlight the instances like this, which are quite obviously not a gun? I don't know. We're going to keep on doing things like this because it really points out their hypocrisy and the fact that it's a corporation all made for money based off of federal donations and private donations. But anyway, other than that little nougat, let's keep going.
Yeah, good morning, Amy. In the course of the investigation, deputies learned those kids were just between the ages of 12 and 14 years old, and they tried robbing a man with a gun. Deputies say at least 3 of those kids were shot. One of them is still in critical condition at last check. When Harris County Sheriff deputies showed up here, they found one of the kids with several gunshot wounds. He was taken to a nearby trauma center in critical condition, as I just mentioned. And as paramedics were tending to him, 2 other kids were found with gunshot wounds. Both were taken to the hospital and are stable. Shortly after that, the suspected shooter, who deputies believe the teens were trying to rob, returned to the scene and turned himself in.
All right, before this witness, because this is an important piece too, who speaks, I want to say something. Suspected shooter? That's 2 reporters now say suspected shooter. How about the victim? The guy who was in his home and he was being robbed at gunpoint by 4 preteens, and then he defended himself with his firearm. How about we use the word victim, not the word suspected shooter? Okay, anyway, let's get to the neighbor, because what he says is kind of funny. Then we get to Baltimore. Yeah, it's a great time.
I heard some gunshots sound like they were basically at my front door. And of course, as you can see from behind me, they were down the way a little bit. To be frank and honest with you, I grabbed my gun, which is in a holster, and walked outside to see what was going on.
It is believed the incident occurred due to an attempted aggravated robbery that involved the juveniles attempting to rob the adult male. During the incident, the juveniles approached the male and they were displaying pistols. The adult male retrieved his own pistol and shot the juveniles.
Okay, so first of all, it just seems like these kids picked the wrong street. If all the older people on the street have guns for their own protection, which, by the way, is their Second Amendment right, and they are allowed to do, and they are encouraged to do it, because America. But you've got 12 to 14-year-olds. Again, there you go. I believe that's the mayor or the police chief. I didn't read the subtitle, whatever. It's an official with police officers behind at the press conference saying what happened. So just waiting for the gun controllers to come out and say it's the gun's fault, because clearly, obviously, right? All right, so now let's jump over to Maryland, right? So this is another interesting one. Now, remember, there's an added piece here. Maryland is a gun control mecca. Everything gun control in Maryland. There's got to be a reason that a 9-year-old would have a gun. Anyway.
Tonight, a 9-year-old is among 5 people arrested for an armed carjacking in southeast Baltimore. This happened yesterday at a stop sign at Grundy and Bank Street. Baltimore police say a woman told them a suspect used a metal tool to smash her window, and then she was dragged from the car. Police were able to track the car and arrest 5 people, their ages ranging from 21 to just 9 years old. Again, 21 to 9 years old. 3 of the suspects were sent to central booking. A 15-year-old was taken to the Department of Juvenile Services, and the 9-year-old was released to his parents.
Okay, you guys know what I'm going to say on this one. So, in Baltimore, an ultimate gun control mecca, as I mentioned a moment ago, a group of people, 21 to 9, armed robbery of a armed carjacking, which is felony. And the 9-year-old gets released to his parents. Hey, parents, what's up? Because I remember, guys, it's just coming to me right now. And this is a very sarcasm-laden episode because, it's appropriate in my opinion. You remember that thing where every time that there's a tragedy, a mass tragedy, or a tragedy involving a school, or any kind of incident, the parents are always charged like, instantly, immediately. Like there's always charges against the parents. It's the safe storage laws. It's the Ethan's laws. It's the idea that it was available and not stored correctly and safely away from children. Well, isn't it weird that there's no charges for the parents of a 9-year-old who committed armed carjacking? I mean, because the child was just released on his own recognizance to the parent. Almost like there's a double standard. Again, you didn't hear a word or a peep of this from the Everytown for Gun Safety and Giffords.org. Isn't that weird? All right, so maybe there's a pattern here. Oh, look, this is something that we covered back in August. 4 teens who fled from police in a stolen Kia, then crashed, are out of custody. Okay, so let me jump down to the end here. So there's 4 teenagers arrested. We know that. They were very young teenagers. They were underage. They did have guns. But now, this little weird part right here from the Attorney General of Minnesota. Listen to this. Minnesota Attorney General, by the way, who is suing Glock because Glocks are converted to full auto machine guns for violating the NFA by criminals. He's suing Glock for that, but this is what he's doing to these kids. General Keith Ellison said this week that he and his 6 fellow attorneys general in the United States are urging the federal court overseeing a consumer class action settlement involving Hyundai and Kia to strengthen the terms by requiring the companies to recall or buy back the theft-prone vehicles and equip them with the engine immobilizer technology. Ellison's statement pointed out that the Kias and Hyundais stolen last year in Minneapolis were involved in 5 homicides, 13 shootings, 36 robberies, and 265 crashes. He said that one crash in December near whatever proved fatal for a 14-year-old boy who was driving a Kia. You've got preteens, you've got teens, you've got violation, you've got carjacking, and what's the Attorney General of Minnesota's big push? Sue the car manufacturers to change their technology because teenagers are stealing them with guns. Just waiting for common sense to strike down like Zeus's lightning bolt right on our heads. Because holy crap. Again, in summation, 12 through 14-year-olds shot while home invasion using armed pistols. Can't do that, violation of gun control, and gun controllers are silent on that one. Same thing on that one, confirmed by the police. 9-year-old armed takes carjacking, released on his own recognizance to the parents. No charges for the parents whatsoever. And Attorney General in charge of the entire Justice Department for Minnesota is wanting to sue Kia and Hyundai because their cars are too easily stolen by teenagers. Okay, guys, let me know if I landed that plane. I'll see you on the next one. Sweet baby goodness. We got a lot of stuff to correct.